This is Top 30. Coming up, a new report says that many popular apps are tracking and selling your location. Why you shouldn't drink water on an airplane. And we take a look at some of the best music of 2018. Hi there, welcome to the show. I'm Kristin Smith, and here are 30 things you need to know right now. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has one message for those with live Christmas trees, and that's keep your trees watered. The commission says fires involving dried out Christmas trees are more common than you think and a major safety concern. And a 4.4 magnitude earthquake shook the southeast overnight. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake struck eastern Tennessee and could be felt all the way in Atlanta. It occurred Wednesday around 4:14 a.m., about 7 miles north of Decatur, and brought on a 3.3 magnitude aftershock. There were no reported injuries or fatalities. And for some, streets paved with chocolate may be a dream come true, but not for these firefighters. A factory spill required 25 firefighters with shovels to clear molten chocolate from the streets of Wurzel, Germany. German news reports nearly a ton of chocolate spilled. Still sounds like a dream come true to me. Now let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with Jerry Willis. Jerry, at least one airline is trying to make it easier to get on the plane.
Hey, Kristin. Delta is revamping its boarding process. The airline says it's ditching zone boarding and grouping passengers based on the type of ticket they have. The company plans to use color coding and increase the number of boarding groups depending on the size of the aircraft. Delta says it wants to make the boarding experience smoother and more enjoyable for passengers. We'll see. McDonald's plans to reduce the use of antibiotics in its global beef supply in the next few years. The company said it would work with meat suppliers in its 10 largest beef sourcing markets, including the U.S. The challenge in reducing these antibiotics has been difficult for McDonald's because of the company's size and the smaller number of suppliers that produce beef without antibiotics. And Google is out with its list of top trending searches for 2018. No real surprises on the list this year. The 4th and 5th place spot went to Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, whose deaths made major headlines in June. The number 3 search was Mac Miller rapper and ex-boyfriend of Ariana Grande, who died of a suspected drug overdose. 2nd place went to Hurricane Florence, the storm that devastated the Carolinas in September.
So what took the top spot?
Well, the top trending search this year, the World Cup, the world's most watched sporting event.
Good to know. Thanks, Jerry. Time now for the New York Minute with Rosanna Scotto from Fox 5 New York. Rosanna, my friend, a month after being selected to house the company's HQ2, we're learning more about how New York wooed Amazon.
All right, so just so you know, Kristin, this story comes with controversy.
Yes.
Not everybody's in favor of what we had to do to get them. You know, taxpayers, we ponied up over $1 billion to woo Amazon. The New York City Economic Development Corporation now made this proposal public, okay? Originally, they proposed 4 locations, including Midtown West and the Financial District.
Okay.
They included beautiful renderings of what HQ could look like. The proposed construction around One Court Square, Queens' tallest building. Amazon has since leased 1 million square feet. They were also told of 8 million square feet nearby to expand, plus 6 million more on the waterfront. They also highlighted transit. They mentioned the subway 41 times. I don't think they mentioned that the subway is late at least 41 times a day. And they mentioned housing. They said that it really is very affordable housing over there. Just so you know, since they mentioned that Amazon's moving there, everything's gone up in real estate.
Yeah.
The rent is too damn high now.
Oh, my goodness. Well, moving on, I hear Yankees fans, I could even say baseball fans in general, may want to reach for their wallets.
You're going to love this. Batter up. Hundreds of items owned by the great Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, Babe Ruth, are being auctioned in June at Yankee Stadium. Now, Babe's granddaughter, she has cared for this collection for decades. She wants to downsize. She says, you know what? I don't know where I'm going to live. I want to find a safe and loving home for them. There are some very interesting things on the list that we know of right now. A pair of Babe's game-worn size 11 cleats. He had big feet.
Yeah.
A signed photo to Babe from Lou Gehrig.
Oh, wow.
And this is kind of interesting. An engraved urn that Babe was gifted when he went to Japan in 1934. Now, after Pearl Harbor, He got so mad at Japan that whatever gifts he got, he started throwing out the window. So this urn has a dent in it and a toe mark because Babe kicked it and threw it, but it has a lot of character to it. It's a home run in a New York minute.
Rosanna, thank you. See you tomorrow. Alrighty, you're not going to believe this next story. 2 nuns in Southern California are accused of embezzling $500,000 and then jetting off to Vegas to gamble. Yes, you heard that right. The nuns in question, Sister Mary Margaret Kruper and Sister Lana Chang. They worked at St. James Catholic School in Torrance, California. Sister Mary Margaret was the principal of the K-8 school for 28 years, and Sister Lana was an 8th grade teacher for 20 years. Both nuns retired this past June and have been described as best friends. The alleged embezzlement scheme was discovered during a routine audit performed after Sister Mary Margaret's retirement. Auditors discovered checks were being deposited into unauthorized accounts. The Church and Archdiocese of Los Angeles chose not to press criminal charges against the sisters, instead choosing to address the situation through an internal investigation. The sisters have said they will pay full restitution. Michael Myers, the church Monsignor, wrote in a letter to parents, quote, Sister Mary Margaret and Sister Lana have expressed to me and asked that I convey to you the deep remorse they each feel for their actions and ask for your forgiveness and prayers. And I'm guessing those nuns will have to say a few Hail Marys as well. Time now for this week's Page 6 Fix. Forget the clash between Joy Behar and Meghan McCain. There's more drama brewing at The View. Carlos Greer has the details. Hi, Carlos.
Well, Kristin, it looks like another View host may be in trouble. The talk show has brought on a talent coach to work with its newest host, Abby Huntsman. Our insiders tell us that people are already placing bets that they're going to oust her. But an ABC exec has insisted a coach is just par for the course and said they are happy with her at the table. And after announcing her split from Offset, Cardi B surprised the crowd at a show in NYC by rapping about her upcoming divorce, saying, I turn Offset on, I told him the other day we gon' get divorced, all while giving the middle finger. Offset responded the next day saying, bleep y'all, I miss Cardi. And it looks like newlyweds Nick and Priyanka extended their stay in India to attend the wedding of an Indian billionaire's daughter. It was a star-studded affair. Hillary Clinton was in attendance and Beyonce performed some of her greatest hits at the glitzy event. And that's this week's Page 6 Fix. See you next time.
Okay, thanks, Carlos. For the latest news and gossip, make sure you watch Page 6 TV. Check your local listings. Here's a question. What do you get for the person who has everything? Even a liquor collection worth 6 figures. Bloomberg reports that a growing number of well-to-do whiskey collectors are seeking out insurance for their best bottles. AIG says it's seen the number of applications increase 10 times in the last 5 years. During the same time, rare whiskey has appreciated by 140%. Just last month, a bottle of the Macallan from 1926 set a record auction price of $1.5 million. Many collectors are having to spring for additional coverage once they learn the booze usually isn't covered by a homeowner's policy. It's also part of a bigger trend among the super rich. AIG says they've seen a 20% increase in applications for coverage of collectible watches, like those made by Rolex. There's also been a 15% increase in policies for vintage cars, like certain Ferraris. The company says older generations might have collected silverware or art, but the next generation has different interests. And still ahead, sleep texting is becoming a real problem. And Elvis Presley's Palm Springs Palace is on the market. Don't go anywhere. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando has what you need to know today. Danielle, I hear we might want to be more honest with our doctors.
Well, Kristin, here's the question. Do you tell your doctor everything? If you say no, you are not alone. University of Michigan researchers say 60 to 80% of people admit they avoid telling their doctors certain details about their health. Shame and fear appear to be at the root of this lack of communication, but others say they simply don't want to admit they disagree or don't understand what their doctor has told them. Well, there is always room for dessert, right? Well, now a new study suggests that we're all falling for what's called clean plate syndrome. Researchers say eating after we're already full is really a big factor in the obesity epidemic, and so they suggest that we start with smaller plates and take our time at the table. Well, don't drink the water on board a commercial airplane. That is the advice from a new Hunter College report. Researchers surveyed 11 major U.S. airlines, and nearly all of them admitted that there just simply is not enough time to empty and clean the onboard water tanks between flights. So that could lead to potentially harmful bacteria in the coffee and tea that flight attendants serve passengers. The researchers also suggest that having a can of soda is probably best if you need the caffeine, and to bring your own hand sanitizer rather than use the faucet in the plane's lavatory. And that's what you need to know. Kristin, really all that I need to know is what they just told me. I am bringing my own water if I can get it through security. Probably can't, right? Back to you.
Well, you can always buy some for 12 bucks in the terminal, right? Thanks, Danielle. Well, if you're ready or not, the year is coming to an end, but let's not walk into 2019 before we talk about the best of 2018. Pitchfork has put out their list for the top 100 songs of the year. You can probably guess some of them on your own, but we'll give you the top 5. Number 5, Pick Up by DJ Cozy. Just ahead at number 4, Nice for What by Drake. Reigning in at number 3, Malamente by Rosalia. Second place, Honey by Robin. And holding the top spot at number 1, Love It If We Made It by the 1975. Some of your other faves that made the list include Sicko Mode by Travis Scott, Thank You Next by Ariana Grande, and In My Feelings by Drake. No doubt this was quite the year in the creative industry, from movies to music to shows. Can't wait to see what we get in 2019. Time now for Gary's Life Fix, brought to you by Sandals Resorts. Self-help books are one thing, but sometimes our journeys of personal growth require a helping hand. With more, we're joined by business and life strategist Gary Cox. So Gary, why do you think we should all find a life coach?
Well, I think it's important to have a coach because sometimes when we are the picture in the frame, it's hard to see things the way they really are. And I think even if you feel that you don't need it, just having somebody else's perspective on things makes the world of difference when it comes toward attaining our goals. Also, it's nice to have an accountability partner as well from time to time.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm sure it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So what should we look for in a good life coach?
Well, one of the things you need to look for is whatever it is that, with regards to the goal that you're trying to attain, the person that you're reaching out to, have they attained that goal themselves? Not that they couldn't do it, but it's important to really find out who you're going to be hiring or who you're going to bring on board in your team, if you will, and then figure out, has that person really attained the things and gone through the things that I've gone through or I'm going to go through to get to that next level?
Well, that's a great start. What else should we look for?
Well, another thing you want to look for is the availability of that person. Depending on the goals that you have, how available are they to you? And then once you figure that out, then you can figure out what your plan is or what your plot is. Do you need somebody once a week? Do you need them once a month, every other month? So that's something also very important to be thinking about.
Very helpful. As always, Gary, thank you. There's a new house on the market in Palm Springs, California, but it's not just any house. It's the house where Elvis and Priscilla Presley hid out after their secret wedding in 1967. Last year, the home was listed for $5.9 million, but the price has been drastically slashed and recently put back on the market for $2.695 million. The 1960 build features futuristic pod-like structures and floating stairs with floor-to-ceiling windows. At 5,000 square feet, there are stone-accented walls and a large circular island in the kitchen with an indoor grill. All of the art and furnishings, which include portraits of Elvis and a jukebox, are included in the sale. So if you want to live like the king, now is your chance. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're one of the millions around the country getting ready for your holiday vacay, we know there's a lot on your plate, but there's nothing more daunting than the dreaded task of packing. So here to give us the packing essentials for any trip is fashion expert Sydney Sadik. Hello, Sydney.
Hi.
So packing, I'm the worst. I pack for about 3 months, even if I'm going away for a weekend, because I never know what to bring.
It's definitely a struggle, but the key is to really pack smart. So you want to think quality over quantity no matter where you're going, and really repurposing your outfits in fun and innovative ways.
Okay, well, I love when you stop by because you have brilliant information and
Thank you.
tips. So where do we start?
Okay, so if you're going somewhere tropical or warm this holiday season, you have to bring a bathing suit, right? But the key here is to buy one that really doubles as a bodysuit. So something that's really trending right now is the off-the-shoulder one piece. This is sexy, but it's still more refined than a two-piece. Anyone can wear it. And what's really fun is to pair it back to a patterned skirt or flowy pants so you can go right out to lunch. Super easy, right?
Yes, I can do that. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, so if you're going somewhere cold, so you have to keep warm, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about that cozy sweater. I love a neutral. It's super easy. It definitely takes up more space in your suitcase when you're packing warm clothing like this. So just pick one. So whether it's a chunky knit sweater or a crew neck, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Oh my gosh, isn't she good? I always tell you she's good.
And last but not least, you have to have a jacket, right? And shearling coats, they're having such a moment right now. Everyone from designers to Topshop and Zara are coming out with versions in every price that you can afford. So it's super easy and will easily transition from day to night.
Sydney, thank you so much. All right, moving right along. A new report claims many popular smartphone apps are tracking and selling your location. At least 75 companies gather detailed location data from phones. That's according to an investigation by the New York Times. In some cases, the records are accurate within a few yards. They might include details like street names. They're sold to advertisers who use the data to target ads. It's a $21 billion a year industry. The person behind the data is supposed to be anonymous because the records don't include names or phone numbers. But the Times found it was possible to find names by checking the anonymous addresses against public records. Some of the apps tested by the paper included Weatherbug, Gas Buddy, Snip Snap Coupon app, and Masha and the Bear free animal games for kids. To turn off sharing within certain apps, iPhone users can go to the privacy menu in their phone settings. Android users can go to settings, then security and location. Some of those companies claim to track up to 200 million devices a year. Well, we're all looking for ways to make life easier, life hacks, as some call it. But one popular YouTuber known as Household Hacker Online found a book from the 1960s filled with 1001 life hacks. So we'll share a few. The first, how to fix a door that just won't stay open. You can make or buy a small coil spring and put it on the top knob of the hinge. Make sure the two ends are pointing to the inside of the door. You can still shut it when you need to. The second hack, getting your suction cups to actually stick. If they aren't gripping properly, try rubbing the rim with hand soap. Press it onto the surface and it should stick this time. And finally, how to keep your shower drain from clogging. If you're so tired of buying those snakes and being grossed out by those wads of hair the size of an animal, place a piece of wool in the drain opening. The hairs will cling to it and it can all be removed to prevent clogging. So thanks, Household Hacker. The little things make the biggest difference. Okay, moving on. Whenever I wear no-show socks, my shoes eat them up and they end up in a ball down by my toes. But now there's a solution. Today's top 30 steal is a 3-pack of Key Socks knee-high no-show socks at a special 62% discount. These are the very first knee-high no-show socks. You never have to worry about them falling off again. These socks are so much more comfortable than your average no-shows and way warmer too. They're available in a variety of colors and styles to fit all occasions. If you love wearing heels or those tiny little flats, these socks are definitely a must-have. The 3-pack of Key Socks knee-high no-show socks retails for as much as $39. But today you can buy them for just $15. That's a 62% discount, and you can get these right now at morningsave.com while they last. Top 30, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Top 30. School debt, a mortgage, auto loan, it's part of life, right? But when it comes to dating, more than 77% of people consider credit card debt unattractive. In fact, a new survey by the personal finance website Finder.com reveals that $11,525 in credit card debt is enough to make a prospective dater walk away. When it comes to dating and debt, millennials are the least tolerant. A whopping 80% consider student loans unacceptable, closely followed by credit card debt and payday loans. The most tolerant when it comes to debt of any kind is Generation X, and baby boomers find all debt unacceptable, with the exception of student loans. Overall, 58% of Americans say they wouldn't marry someone with any significant debt. So wait until after you're married and rack up that debt together. Okay, heads down, screens lit up, younger generations are always on their phones. But a recent study suggests always on their phones might not be just a figure of speech. Sleep texting is the latest technology nightmare. The new nighttime behavior is defined as an individual responding to or sending a text while in a sleep state. Researchers at Villanova University surveyed over 300 college students about their cell phone use during sleep and their quality of sleep. The results Results published in the Journal of American College Health found that 1 in 4 reported sleep texting behavior, along with poor sleep quality, thanks to a phone interrupting. But poor sleep quality wasn't what had most participants worried. It was the embarrassing gibberish messages sent while sleep texting. Although the research only surveyed college students, sleep texting can happen to anyone, so maybe put your phone across the room. And that's it for today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. The rules about what identification you need to fly are about to change. We'll tell you how to prepare. Plus, researchers want to know if it's possible to come down with man flu. And according to Netflix, these are the shows we binged most in 2018. You can also listen to today's biggest stories on the Top 30 podcast. It's all coming up on the next Top 30.